Well, thank you so much for joining us today on this bright sunny day here in London. We'd like to obviously explain to you our new Cunard Queen that's going to be joining the fleet. So, what of this new ship? This is a momentous day for Cunard. We're launching for sale the third new ship over the space of 6 years. We had to wait 37 years after the launch of QE2 before our next new ship, which of course was Queen Mary II. And now within the space of 6 years, we'll see Queen Mary II, Queen Victoria, and now the new Queen Elizabeth come on for sale. We now, of course, as a result of that, have the youngest fleet in the world, which again, for one of the oldest names in passenger shipping, is quite remarkable. And of course, with these 3 ships on the ocean waves, with Queen Elizabeth joining them, we really can now talk about defining a new golden age of ocean travel. So what are the vital statistics of this wonderful vessel? Well, her gross tonnage is just over 90,000 gross registered tonnes. That makes her smaller than Queen Mary II, who's 151,000 gross tonnes, but just a little larger than Queen Victoria. Her length is just under 300 metres, 294 metres, which for those of you that would like to know is about the same length as the river frontage of the Houses of Parliament, and indeed is some 36 London buses long. In terms of her breadth, she's 32 metres, and in fact with the bridge wings there she's 36 metres, and her maximum draft is 8 metres. In terms of the numbers of staterooms and suites, we have 1,046 on board, lower berths and therefore comfortably accommodated guests 2,092, giving a space ratio of gross registered tonnage per guest of 43, which is an excellent space ratio in the marketplace. This is our second largest Cunarder that we have ever built in our 170-year history. So here she is. We're unveiling our Gracious New Cunarder. She will be a sister ship to Queen Victoria, but she has some architectural differences, and indeed she will have a personality all her own. Let's have a look. Now, this Queen has an exterior, as you would imagine, of the traditional Cunard Queen. So she has her traditional federal grey hull and her red funnel. You will find her interior boasts Art Deco flourishes, and we'll point some of those out as we go around the ship. And of course the usual marbles, mosaics and rich wood style finishes that make a Cunard Queen so elegant and so grand. And this particular vessel will proudly celebrate our links with royalty. Now we've had long links with the British royal family, since Queen Mary back in 1934 was launched by the original Queen Mary, and we've been having royal launches ever since. We'll also be celebrating our place in the maritime world, and we'll celebrate those links with royalty and our maritime position with exhibits around the ship, with artwork, with photographs and with memorabilia. In addition, this new Queen will pay tribute to our previous Cunard Elizabeths. We've had a Queen Elizabeth within our fleet for over 70 years now, and we want to take that forward into the 21st century. QE2 that left our fleet back in November, and of course the original Queen Elizabeth that was launched by Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother in 1938. So we'll be paying tribute to both of those ships and the era of that original Queen Elizabeth on this ship. Here we are on board. This is the grand lobby. This is the entranceway into this magnificent vessel. Triple height in terms of the number of decks in this grand lobby, and with cantilevered balconies out over the main area. The chandelier that you see is a wonderful Art Deco style chandelier, and the floor will be a rich marble with again an Art Deco pattern. The artwork that is towering over the stairway is some 2.5 decks high, and that artwork that you see will be a wonderful design of marquetry with a myriad of coloured woods and also with mother of pearl. And the design of that particular piece of art will be announced a little later, but it will be a stunning addition and welcome to the ship. Let's move on into the Midships Bar. This is the bar at the highest level of the grand lobby on deck 3. And this bar takes its name from a bar on the original Queen Elizabeth. And as such, we're going to pay tribute to that ship in this space. So we have cabinets with memorabilia from the original Queen Elizabeth, and we have artwork that will be from the 1930s. There'll be a ship's model too to pay tribute to that great ship. In the corner you can see a piano, and we're going to enjoy Ivor Novello style evenings around the piano, as they did in all the best country houses back in the 30s in this area. And I'm sure this area will see a lot of champagne being drunk. If we move up to deck 10, we move to the Yacht Club. Now this is a room that's named after that lively aft lounge on the QE2. This room has a compass-style dance floor. It has columns that are crowned with sails, and the overall nautical style of the room will pay tribute to QE2. And it'll be a wonderful place to dance to jazz and other lively music in the evening. And during the day, the 270-degree windows that surround the room will make it a wonderful place for activities and for meetings. Let's move to the Queen's Room. This is a tradition on all Cunard ships. In fact, since the QE2, that was the first time the Grand Ballroom was named the Queen's Room, and now we have one on each of our ships. This is our double-height ballroom with a dance floor of 1,000 square feet, cantilever balconies looking down over the dance floor. And this room will be decorated. The rooms will show pictures and murals of views from royal palaces. We'll have the original royal standard from the original Cunard Queen Elizabeth that was presented to the ship by Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, when she came to name the ship back in 1938. And we'll have a collection of photographs of our royal namings ever since the naming of the Queen Mary, and also our royal visits that we have on board our ship. So it'll be a wonderful tribute to our royal family and our Cunard links to royalty. Of course, in this room we have our grand balls at sea. We have afternoon tea dances and afternoon tea itself served by our waiters and waitresses in their white gloves. Let's move to the library, a really old Cunard tradition here. We were the first company to put a library on a ship back in 1874, and that was on the Bothnia, and we've been doing it ever since. This particular library has over 6,000 books. It has obviously 2 decks and a wonderful spiral staircase connecting the 2. And the ceiling you can see there is a beautiful backlit ceiling, an Art Deco design, which really does pay tribute to the old Cunard liners that had these wonderful backlit ceilings. Also in this room we'll have a globe that shows the world as it was in the 1930s when the original Queen Elizabeth came into service. Then we'll move to the Commodore Club, a new Cunard tradition. The first time we had a Commodore Club was on Queen Mary 2, and we now have one on each of our ships. The Commodore Club is a forward observation lounge, a nautical feel to this room, and telescopes to see the views, and also ship's models, a wonderfully big ship's model behind the bar. So a very clubby nautical feel to this lounge. Moving on to Cafe Corinthia. Cafe Corinthia, cafe named after one of our previous Cunard liners, the Corinthia. This was first put on to Queen Victoria, this concept, and it's done extremely well. So we've repeated it on Queen Elizabeth and we've extended it. So this is a larger extended area overlooking the Grand Lobby on deck 2. And here you can enjoy speciality teas and coffees, pastries, croissants, gâteaux, quiche. It's a good place to come for an alternative breakfast or lunch. Let's move to the Royal Court Theatre, a magnificent West End style theatre. This room is probably better equipped than many West End theatres. As you can see, it's decorated in a regal blue and gold. There are Art Deco flourishes on the fronts of the private boxes and on the proscenium arch. And indeed, as you'll know, this is the second theatre at sea to have private boxes, the first theatre, of course, being on Queen Victoria. This room will be used for our West End style production shows, our Insights programme lectures, and indeed our RADA plays, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, as well as a cinema, so we can see films in this room.